COPWATCH, policing the police every single day.
Say hi, Andy. I'm recording you.
Alright, you get the whole thing, right?
I got you.
Ocean City cops are not people.
Yes, they are. You know what's really criminal?
What's that?
Those knee-high socks.
I know, but that's what the brown shirts wore.
Description of premises to be searched. The account to be searched is the following Google user accounts. Any cellular or electronic device utilizing Google services within the below described geographical quadrant depicted by the following latitude and longitude locations. The geographical area is defined by the following latitude and longitude coordinates and is connected by straight lines. A Google Earth picture is attached depicting the search area requested for devices utilizing Google services during the time frame of this incident contained within the following coordinates herein referred to as the geofence perimeter. Geofence point 126.926505 north 82.266215 west geofence point 226.92886 north 82.266,423 west _ geofence point 426.9250002 north 82.268104 west 1. Google shall query location history data based on the initial search parameters as described above. 2. For each location point recorded within the initial search parameters, Google LLC shall produce anonymized information specifying the corresponding unique device ID, timestamp, coordinates, display radius, and data source, if available, the anonymized list. 3. Law enforcement shall review the anonymized list to remove devices that are not relevant to the investigation, for example, devices that were not in the location for a sufficient period of time. If additional location information for a given device tag /1D is needed in order to determine whether that device is relevant to the investigation, law enforcement may request that Google provide additional location coordinates for the time period that fall outside of the target location. These contextual location coordinates may assist law enforcement in identifying devices that were located outside the target location, were not within the target location for a long enough period of time, were moving through the target location in a manner inconsistent with the facts of the underlying case, or otherwise are not relevant to the investigation. 4. For those device tags /IDs identified as relevant pursuant to the process described above, law enforcement may request that Google provide identifying information, without additional legal service, as defined in 18 U.S.C. 2703, c. 2, for the Google account associated with each identified device tag /IDs. November 9, 2020 at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to November 9, 2020 at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See attached Google Map in the attachment section of the search warrant to show search location, which is hosted by the following: Warrant ID number 32156 page 2 of 8. Google Incorporated and/or Google Payment Corp. Google Legal Investigation Support 1600 Amphitheater Parkway, Mountain View, California 94043. Herein referred to as the premises. Your affiant seeks to seize the below described evidence pursuant to Florida Statute 92.605 and 934.23, as well as the United States Code 18 U.S.C. 2703, and California Statute 1524.2, which compel out-of-state electronic communication service or remote computing service that provides such services to the public to provide information requested pursuant to search warrants, court orders or subpoenas issued in the state of Florida. However, because the out-of-state electronic communication service crimes from any other records contained within the sought-after account, your affiant seeks to compel the service provider to seize a copy of all records pertaining to the account and provide the entirety of the records to your affiant. Once your affiant has obtained those records, your affiant shall conduct an actual search of the items obtained from the out-of-state electronic communication service or remote computing service provider in order to sort the evidence of the crimes articulated below and specifically sought herein, which may be intermingled with innocent or innocuous documents or records. Affiant's qualifications. Your affiant is a sworn law enforcement officer for the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. Your affiant is currently assigned to the Major Crimes Unit as a detective and has been employed by the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office since September 2013. Your affiant has been assigned to various units throughout the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office to include the Road Patrol Division, Criminal Investigations Division, and Special Investigations Division, assigned as a narcotics detective and canine handler. Your affiant has taken advanced training classes for further development in the field of law enforcement. Your affiant has served and assisted in the execution of search warrants which has led to the arrest and prosecution of subjects in Charlotte County, Florida. Your affiant knows that a cellular telephone or mobile telephone is a handheld wireless device primarily used for voice, text, and data communication through radio signals. Cellular telephones send signals through networks of transmitters/receivers called cells or cell sites, enabling communication with other cellular telephones or traditional landline telephones. Cellular telephones rely on cellular towers, the location of which may provide information on the location of the subject telephone. Cellular telephones may also include Global Positioning System, GPS, or other technology for determining a more precise location of the device. Your affiant is aware that Android and some iPhones will report location-related data back to Google LLC when powered on. This reporting of location information cannot be disabled by the user. The frequency, Alice reporting will vary from every second to 5+ minutes, depending on the device activity at the time. This data is sourced from information received by the phone in reference to warrant ID #32I56 page 4 of 8. Known cell towers, known available Wi-Fi connections, and GPS. The device does not have to connect to the Wi-Fi to generate this location information, nor does the Wi-Fi on the device have to be on. Your affiant knows that Google owns the Android operating system. According to the website Statista.com, Google produced 96% of U.S. mobile organic search visits. Consequently, a significant portion of cell phone users actively share location information with Google LLC. Your affiant is aware that Google LLC will assign an anonymized number to a device. This number is known as a device ID. Google LLC never deletes the device ID location data. Google LLC may not be able to provide any further information on the device ID other than the device ID. A user has deleted their account information. All that remains is the device ID. End users cannot delete the device ID location information, because it is maintained and stored in an anonymous state. Under the Stored Communication Act, 18 U.S.C. 2703, this data is available to law enforcement through the issuance of a probable cause search warrant, in compliance with Carpenter v. United States requiring a warrant to obtain cell site location information. Search conducted by law enforcement. Once Google LLC provides an anonymized list of devices utilizing Google services within the incident time frame, law enforcement shall review the anonymized list to remove devices are not relevant to the investigation, for example devices that were not in the location for a sufficient period of time. If additional location information for a given device tag/ID is needed in order to determine whether that device is relevant to the investigation, law enforcement may request that Google provide additional location coordinates for the time period that fall outside of the target location. These contextual location coordinates may assist law enforcement in identifying devices that were located outside the target location, were not within the target location for a long enough period of time, were moving through the target location in a manner inconsistent with the facts of the underlying case, or otherwise are not relevant to the investigation. 2. For those device tags/IDs identified as relevant pursuant to the process described above, law enforcement may request that Google provide identifying information, without additional legal service, as defined in 18 U.S.C. 2703, c. 2, for the Google account associated with each identified device tags/IDs.
So it's no secret some of the most well-known tech companies in the U.S. have been known to track our every move. But now investigators are apparently using that same technology to find suspects and witnesses near crimes, but at the same time running the risk of capturing innocent people too. RT correspondent Saya Tavenger is joining us in studio with more on this technology. So tell us about this, Saya. What is it?
So Manila, this new practice by the police, it gained national attention back in 2018 when 23-year-old Jorge Molino was arrested and put in jail on suspicion of killing another man in Arizona. Now, according to the police report, officers told Molino that without a doubt, his phone was at the scene of the crime based on data obtained from Google. But Molina says he wasn't there. He claims that he had just lent an old phone to the man police later arrested. Police had arrested the wrong man, yet the arrest cost Molino his job, his car, and his reputation. And there are hundreds of similar cases where police have arrested the wrong person using what's called geofence warrants. And now geofence warrants is a relatively new investigation technique police use to track suspects' locations. Now, traditionally, police would first identify a suspect, then use a warrant to search the person's home or belongings. Geofence warrants work exactly in reverse. Police start out with time and location, then request data from Google or another tech company about any device in the area at the time. Then they may ask for more specific information like an email address or a name of the phone number on the account. And even though this practice is relatively new, it's becoming really, really common. Google reported a 1,500% increase in requests in 2018 compared with 2017 and received as many 200 requests per week from law enforcement last year. And it's not only Google, Apple, it's not only Google, Apple, Uber, and Snapchat. They've all received similar requests from law enforcement.
Wow, social media too.
Exactly.
So, Saya, what do the critics of geofence warrants have to say about all of this? A lot, I'm sure.
Sure. Well, first things first, it's against the Fourth Amendment, which requires authorities to search warrants at particular places or things like a home, a bank deposit box, or a cell phone, and only when there's reason to believe that evidence of a crime will be found there. So it's unconstitutional because the police forced Google to turn over data on everyone else who was in that same exact geographic area. Remember the Minneapolis protest in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. Minneapolis police used a geofence warrant to identify protesters. Same thing in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But some states are pushing back. New York lawmakers are right now proposing a bill that would ban geofence warrants. And judges in Illinois, they've already denied the government permission to use Google geofence. But the police do defend this practice. They say it's helped them successfully be used with robberies, sexual assaults, arson, and murder.
Yeah, but then you can just be stuck at the wrong place at the wrong time, and now they have
Exactly.
you in their scoop.
Exactly what that happened to that young man.
That young man, his life destroyed.
Exactly.
Saya Tavenger, thank you for giving us that story.